Do you have someone on your Christmas shopping list that's impossible to shop for? Is there someone in your life that you never know what to get? I think I might have a solution, and it came in the form of actually doing some shopping for me, but I have loved this way more than I thought I possibly would. So without further ado, longtime and very observant viewers of this channel and my videos will notice that I've recently changed my ring. So previously I had a ring made out of a tungsten carbide, and I'm going to tell you why I now have a ring that I can do this with. Okay? So I'll get into the specifics on where you can pick up one of these rings in just a minute, and that link will be in the description below. Spoiler alert, it's less than 10 bucks, and it's one of the best purchases I've ever made. So let me explain why. When I was growing up, I had just kind of a ring that I would wear, not a wedding ring. I actually wore it on this hand, but you know, I led an active lifestyle. I liked to play sports, you know, basketball, soccer, ultimate frisbee, whatever. And that ring got beaten up. So the metal would always kind of bend, and I'd like stretch it back out. And so over time, instead of like a nice rounded curve, it had kind of this waviness to it because it was messed up, right? So actually, I got to a point where I didn't like wearing rings at all, because sometimes after it got smashed, it would be hard to get it off my hand, so I could then stretch it out. I'd have to like stick a fork tine in there and try to bend it, and so it was just not a good thing. So I went for years without wearing rings. Then when my wife and I, well, at the time, girlfriend, when we got engaged, we started looking at rings, and for me, I literally walked into this jewelry showroom, and I said to the salesman, I said, you know how when a plane crashes and explodes in a fiery inferno and the only thing left is that little black box? I want my ring to be the other thing. And he said, oh, you want this? And he led me over to this place where I had 4 options. So I'm in this store full of probably thousands of rings and millions of dollars worth of inventory, and he showed me 4 rings, and they were all made out of this tungsten carbide. It's indestructible. So he took it out of the display case and took out a set of keys, like his key to his house, and like scratched it as much as he could, and then showed it to me. There was nothing on there. It's maybe on a microscopic level or something, but I was like, that's it. That's the ring I want. And for a long time, that's the ring I had. And it was heavy. Okay, it was kind of thick, and you know, I would put it in someone's hand, and they'd go, oh, whoa, because there was some weight to it as well. So virtually indestructible, though. The main advantage to it was exactly that. Like, it couldn't be broken, couldn't be bent, couldn't be scratched. You know, sometimes it'd get a little bit cloudy, and just polish it up and it looks brand new. So I was really happy with the purchase for 10 years. Then about a year ago, this is when it first got into my head a little bit, Jimmy Fallon, and you can go look up these videos, but Jimmy Fallon appeared on The Tonight Show after being out for a little while, and he had this bandaged hand, and he told the story of what happened. He was in his kitchen, and he kind of slipped and tried to catch himself on the island in their kitchen, and it basically ripped his finger off. And I at the time I was like, oh, what? That's weird. What? Like, you know, because I also have trouble with like blood and pain and whatever. So it kind of freaked me out a little bit. Essentially what had happened was his ring caught and just like messed up his fingers. So he had a bunch of surgeries, etc., and you know, he seems to be okay now, but even now he has some limited movement. And so I thought, okay, well, that's just kind of a, you know, an isolated incident or whatever. The more I talked to people who work in construction, who do extreme sports, you know, just people with active lifestyles, the military, manufacturing, you know, these kinds of people can't wear jewelry of any kind, but specifically for that reason, right? There is a very real condition, and it recurs, where your finger can get ripped off. You can lose a finger, and especially if you have a tungsten carbide or some kind of like indestructible metal. Because if you have another type of ring like a gold or something, you know, it's malleable enough that it's not going to just rip your finger off usually. And surgeons can just kind of cut it off and like pry it off and reshape it to get it off your finger. With a tungsten carbide one though, I was in very real danger of just having my finger ripped off. And I didn't want that to happen. So I did a little bit of research. I found this, and this is a company called Banded Glory, and they're one of the original companies to manufacture these. So it's a little bit dark because I went with black because, I don't know, I felt like it was more manly or something, but that's it. So you need to know your ring size. This is pretty much, that's it. You just need to know your ring size and choose the color you want and order it. It's this flexible rubber. It's very similar to like those Livestrong bands or any wristbands that people have worn in the past. It's similar to that, not quite as stretchy, so it does hold up a little bit better. And I started wearing this weeks ago. I'm not even sure the exact day, but probably at least 3 weeks ago. And I have put it through the tests that I could think of. And I did this on purpose so that this review would be informative for you. So I go swimming, so I've worn this in the pool, no problem. I ride my bike, a road bike on a trail, no problem, and it's comfortable. So that's another thing. I'm going to tell you a couple other things I've done, but anything where you're holding on to something, you're doing pull-ups, you're mowing the lawn, you're edging the lawn, you're using a leaf blower, you're cutting paper, whatever, like anything where you're going to be using your hand. When my other ring wouldn't give at all, I'd kind of get a little bit of fatigue where my finger was getting pushed like that, and it kind of hurt. So at the end of the day, I'd sometimes take my ring off and just kind of like rub that part of my finger. So this, I hardly even notice that it's there. It's so comfortable, it's so lightweight, I've had no issues whatsoever. So driving my car, you know, like I said, swimming, biking, hiking, whatever. And I also have the peace of mind that if it catches on something, it's going to break, because it's designed to break rather than rip your finger off, which is always a good thing. Now, my wife noticed almost immediately when I switched to this ring, because she was holding my hand, she's like, wow, that is so much more comfortable. Because for 10 years, I've been wearing like this chunk of metal that digs into her fingers when she's holding my hand. So she's more willing to hold my hand. So not only is this ring the right price point at less than 10 bucks, and again, I'll post a link in the description below to where you can find yours, but, you know, maybe it can improve your love life, right? If you're married or dating somebody. So it's a way still of broadcasting that you're off the market, like that. But, you know, you're giving up some of the shininess and the bling for some safety. And if you have an active lifestyle, then it's really something you really should consider. And for a while, I was worried that maybe social norms would be like, oh, what's that? That's not a real ring, whatever. But it's becoming more popular. So I think we're kind of at that tipping point where this is more of a mainstream thing. I don't know that it's going to disrupt the jewelry industry. I think that's, you know, well established, probably there to stay. But for people at a certain stage of life, like I am, try to get out and do stuff, you know, this may be the perfect solution. So going back to the Christmas gift idea, you may have to ask somebody what their ring size is. You can do that subtly and just be like, hey, that's a cool ring. Can I see that? And you know, hold it in your hand. Most people maybe don't know what their ring size is. So one of the things I did, I just, on their website, I zoomed in to 100% magnification, and I held my ring up to the screen. So that's another important consideration you might be wondering about. I wear a size 10 ring, and this is a size 10 ring, and I was worried that it might be a little too small. So I also ordered a size 11. This arrived and it's exactly what I wanted. So the sizing is right on with actual rings. So if you know you wear an 8.5, you can get an 8.5, and that will be exactly what you need. The size is perfect. I think that's really all you need to know. So, it's thoughtful for that person in your life. You're concerned about their safety. You also like support and encourage their active lifestyle and hobbies, but it's going to keep you safe. I don't really know what else you need to know about it other than they're available in men's and women's styles, a variety of colors. The women's styles are just a little bit thinner, but it's the same principle. So that'll do it. That was more extensive than I intended. It went longer than 10 minutes as I'm watching my timer here. So I apologize for the length of the review, but I wanted it to be comprehensive because I'm excited about this product. Banded Glory seems to be kind of the leader in this field as well, so check them out. Link in the description below to where you can buy one. It is an affiliate link, so if you end up purchasing something, I get a little bit of a cut on that, but that's not why I'm doing this. Just wanted to make that clear, okay? Click this link over here to subscribe to this channel. I appreciate you subscribing. I'll keep bringing you quality reviews for quality products. And then on this side, check out some of the other reviews and videos that I've done on this channel. Thanks.